Hi, welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt. And this is possibly the best car in the world. This is the Audi RS6 Avant, and it's a very special car. This is the first time Audi has brought the full potency high-performance wagon to North American shores. So now, for the first time, the AMG E63 wagon has a proper competitor. There have been other high-performance wagons that have cropped up here and there in the past, like the Cadillac CTS-V wagon. But they never really hang around long, and let's not pretend that Cadillac and Mercedes were on the same plane, at least back in that time. So this RS6 is here to make the Merc Quake. And the Merc should take notice, because under the skin here we have the same 4-liter twin-turbo V8 that we had in the RS Q8 the other week. We have the same ZF 8-speed gearbox, we've got Audi's performance differential, and we have a trunk the same size as the RS Q8 as well. I know the 4-liter AMG V8 is in a lot of very impressive cars in Mercedes' own lineup, but the V8 under the hood here of this Audi can be found in things like range-topping Porsche Panameras, Cayennes, and even a Lamborghini. The VAG 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 here is tuned for 590 horsepower and the same number in torque, and with launch control active you'll jump to 60 closer to 3 seconds than 4. And it's going to make some pretty awesome V8 sounds while it does it. So power. This V8 we're very familiar with, and it's a great engine. It makes almost 600 horsepower and the same number in torque. I mean, that's nothing to sniff at. The power comes on really hard when you're in boost, and the gauge cluster lights up and goes crazy as you approach redline. And there's a symphony, a cacophony of V8 noises happening all around you. There's a good amount of drama, but if I had one complaint, it's that this cabin is so refined that it almost dials out some of the drama and the craziness of the experience of this car. And that's kind of the personality of this RS6 versus the E63. The E63 gets louder and stiffer and more insane, but it doesn't settle down and become a normal luxury car in the same way that this RS6 can. And some of that even comes down to the gearbox. I love a good gearbox, and the snappy one on the AMG's 9-speed is just that. But this ZF 8-speed transmission here gives you a lot of the same things. The braps on upshifts, the burbles on downshifts. I mean, you're not gonna get tired of it. However, switched back into comfort mode, this ZF feels smoother and a lot less jarring when you're just trying to putter around downtown. And then there's the handling. Here we have a big V8 up front going to all 4 wheels in typical Audi Sport Quattro fashion. The confidence is high, the traction is unwavering, but there's one big surprise here. And it's the fact that this 600 horsepower super wagon is the best handler in Audi's lineup, aside from, of course, the mid-engine V10 R8. The front end is sharp. It's got the least understeer of any Audi I've ever driven. The suspension firms right up in dynamic and RS modes. You even have RS1 and RS2 will dial off traction and stability, so it's just you and the throttle, and you can really start to corner with the throttle. You can kind of tell that at its core it doesn't really want to go sideways in the same way that the BMWs and the Mercs do, but behind the wheel this thing is just a honey. I mean, the best compliment that I can give it is what I just said. The only car that handles better than this RS6 in Audi's own stacked lineup is their mid-engine V10 R8 supercar. Now that's saying something. So dynamically, this RS6 will hang with pretty much anything up a canyon road. But what really impresses me is its ability to soften back and just be an Audi after that. The M cars from BMW are overdamped and too stiff to really be luxury cars in comfort mode. Same thing with the AMGs. And let's also not pretend that Mercedes and Audi have the same interior build quality. This RS6 is wildly impressive, and without a question, the best all-around car in Audi's lineup. So with that, let's step outside and discuss some finer details. Okay, behind the wheel then, this thing is pretty impressive, I have to say. And then from the exterior, I mean, it's pretty impressive too, just look at it. Finished in a dazzling gray paint, black optics, and the 22-inch wheels, this RS6 is stanced with contemporary poise and aggression. Up front, you have hexagonal grille with the black finish and radar transponders. You've got functional aero in your lower valence and a subtle front splitter. But the party piece to any Audi is the lighting. You've got dynamic laser lights that do all sorts of dances to greet you and wish you farewell. Or on the side, you've got massive 22-inch wheels draped in Hankook Ventus S1 Evo 3 tires, a very aggressive set fitting of this car. And despite being such big wheels, they don't seem to hurt the ride in any way. You've got big black brake calipers peeking out underneath, and if you wanted, you could get carbon ceramics, but I would skip that personally. From the profile, it looks low and aggressive, and interestingly enough, the RS6 only comes as the wagon here in the States. But I'm not complaining, it looks awesome. The rear three-quarter might be my favorite angle though, as the flared hips are accentuated. This RS6 is 2.2 inches wider than a normal A6, and that's clear with these hips. The rear end is subtle but sporty, with unique sequential LED taillights that also can boogie. You've got an aggressive black diffuser that enshrouds your typical massive RS dual exhaust. Now I will say, the E63 AMG packs 13 more horsepower, but this thing packs like 947 more style points, so I'll take mine in gray. Let's step on the inside. Okay, and then the interior here is where Mercedes is going to go above and beyond to dazzle you with big screens and crazy graphics. But Audi doesn't do that here. And why? Because it's just good. The build materials, everything that you touch and interact with just has a level of quality that I would expect from something at this price point and with these 4 rings on it. The cabin design is going to feel very familiar to other Audis we've covered, and that's kind of the point. It's familiar, it's easy to use, and it's a reminder of the way that Audi can split the personality so well here. You get flashy RS things like these sport bucket seats with red stitching, and the flat bottom steering wheel with the RS badge at the bottom and the RS mode buttons. You've got an RS1 and RS2 mode, and RS2 removes a lot of the nannies so it's just you and the car. And the rear seats are bucketized, and the RS red stitching matches the front. And of course, you get a couple RS specific screens for your temperatures, pressures, and telemetry. But other than that, it's pretty typical Audi interior in here. You get a nice big head-up display, you get Audi's excellent virtual cockpit, you get the typical Audi MMI system with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you get an auxiliary screen for both climate controls and a couple other things. You've got great 360 cameras with augmented reality, you get seats that are heated and cooled, you get a steering wheel that's heated, and you look up and you see a sunroof for the front passengers and a sunroof for the back passengers. Then speaking of the rear seats, they're big and comfortable even for 6-foot humans. You've got window shades back there, you've got the same RS red stitching back there, you've got heated seats back there, you've got your own climate controls and vents, and you've even got light up seat buckles. And then finally the trunk. It's about the same size as the RS-Q8 we drove last month, making it hugely practical. It's got lights back there, and the rear seats fold 40-20-40 to make the space even bigger. It's hugely practical in here with all of the space, the comfort, the build quality, the materials, the luxuries. I mean, you even have soft closed doors here on a super wagon. So with that, I think it's time to get into final thoughts. So there it is, the first RS6 to have hit our shores, and it's a stunner. It's the Swiss Army knife of cars. It's fast as hell, sharp as a tack, and it's comfortable. It's gorgeous without being over-styled, and it's massively practical without sacrificing luxury and quality. It's quite possibly the perfect car. So thanks to Audi Milwaukee for letting me have a go.